The NCAA has been holding back money from college athletes for years, but that all changes as of July 1st with the new name, image, and likeness laws going into effect. So how does it affect wrestling? Let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name is Josiah, and welcome to Fanco Wrestling, your source for college wrestling news and discussion. And I remember back when I was in college, there was a kicker on Penn State's team named Joey Julius. He was a big kicker, a larger-than-life character, and a fan favorite. Well, there were a group of fans that came together and created these t-shirts with the nickname Big Toe Joe on them. They created these as a fundraiser to raise money for Thon, the big fundraiser that goes on Penn State's campus every single year. But what happened is the NCAA and the school actually shut down this fundraiser because they were raising money using Joey Julius's name. This was my first encounter with name, image, and likeness, and I thought this was crazy because they made the people who created the fundraiser refund all the money, and nothing was able to go to even a charity because they were using the kicker's name. Now, this all changes as of July 1st with the new name, image, and likeness laws that are going to affect all across the country at universities everywhere in pretty much every single state across the country. So, first of all, what is NIL? NIL is name, image, likeness. You may see that term being thrown around, NIL, name, image, likeness. It's allowing you to use your own name as a college athlete. And I know it's not something you were able to do before. If you were a football player and you had a jersey, you were not making money off of those jersey sales. The other people were making money off of that. Right after NCAA's, there were shirts that said "excuses are for wusses" on it, being sold at the around Iowa. Spencer Lee wasn't making any money off of that, even though that was his quote. That's something he could have capitalized on if it was July 1st. But the law has gone into effect, and there are many laws still changing across many different states. But for the most part, I'm going to talk about what athletes can do, what they cannot do, and how this affects wrestling. So as I already said, it varies by state, varies by university, but there are some things that are pretty similar across all areas. First of all, if you're an athlete, you're not allowed to wear your school branded logo on any of your posts that are promoting another product. So if you are Stefan Micic, you at Wrestling at Michigan, you cannot wear a Michigan shirt or singlet while you're promoting another product. You're not allowed to partner with brands that clash with your school. And this makes sense. I mean, no college wants their athletes partnering with alcohol brands, tobacco, gambling, adult industry, anything like that. You're not going to be able to partner with that. But as well as if your school is a Nike school, for example, Penn State's a Nike school, their athletes aren't going to be able to partner with Under Armour because they clash because of licensing deals. Now, wrestling is interesting, and before I get to the things that wrestlers can do, this is very interesting because of wrestling and the fact that, like I said, you can't clash, but wrestling shoes are a little bit different. Some universities actually have it where you can wear a Nike singlet, but you can wear whatever wrestling shoes you want. You can wear Rudis wrestling shoes or Under Armour wrestling shoes. So that'll be interesting to see the deals that are being made. Maybe there are wrestlers who make their own wrestling shoes. And I think there's still a lot to be discussed there. But the other thing is you can't engage in anything that while you're competing. So you can't be signing autographs at matches. And I think that's one of the things that's going to change a little bit. I'll talk about with wrestling could change, or anything that the school deems impermissible. These athletes have to go through their school to do everything that they want to do. But let's get to the fun part. So what are some of the things that athletes can do? First of all, they can make money off their own name, image, and likeness at a fair value to the rest of the market, whatever that means. I mean, what's the rest of the market? I mean, there are social media influencers making millions off of their social media accounts. So could college athletes be making millions in college? Potentially. There are two athletes currently right now that are big and are already making some money right now as of July 1st, trying to make some money off of name and image. Like just Roman Bravo Young has already started raffling off a pair of his match shoes. He's built up his social media and he has one of the best social medias out of any current college wrestler. Between him AJ Ferrari, Gable Steveson. I mean, these are guys that know how to brand themselves, and he's already making money. Another guy making money is AJ Ferrari. He put on Twitter on July 1st, "I'm excited to bring you the release of the highly anticipated Mr. Fast Twitch Near Fall line." So he already has shirts with 665-pound deadlift, which, I mean, that's a phenomenal first shirt to start out with for AJ Ferrari, and I hope that it gets plenty of sales. But what else can athletes do? Okay, so you have raffles, you have shirt sales, you have these apparel sales. What else can athletes do? They can actually make unlimited cash. There's not really any cap on this. There's no cap. Like, they could make millions of dollars if they're able to monetize their own brand. They can receive money directly from donors or others who pay for their services. So, hey, I want you to show up, come to my restaurant. We're going to have a big showing. We'll put your picture on the wall, and we will compensate you this amount for that. That's something that's permissible, that's allowed. They're allowed to sell apparel. So, like I said, shirts, singlets, shoes. This is big. They can get compensated for their social media posts. They can even host their own camps now with their name. Because one of the things that athletes were not allowed to do before was actually they weren't allowed to promote that they were going to a camp. They had to be a clinician at the camp. It was a whole big run around, gray area, weird thing. But they were not allowed to make their own money off of camps to some extent. So how does this change wrestling? That's the question. What is going to change now that the NCAA changed these rules? Now that the U.S. Supreme Court overruled the NCAA and said that these athletes are allowed to make money off of their name. And we'll see if there's some like class action lawsuit that goes back with all this. But anyways, how does this change wrestling? First of all, this is going to be more scholarship opportunities. I mean, if a school is able to really help brand their athletes, is really able to help them build a name for themselves, give them the resources, this is something that eventually they're going to be able to open up more scholarships, give out other scholarships to other athletes to help grow their team. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, and I tend to agree right now, is that the rich are just going to get richer, right? There's going to be more opportunities for the Penn State wrestlers, the Iowa wrestlers, the Oklahoma State wrestlers, who have so many donors, who have huge college towns that just support their teams like crazy. And I get it. I understand that, and that makes sense. But this is just going to have to be another thing that small schools are going to have to get even better at doing, is helping their athletes brand themselves to make money. And it's not all going to be huge deals with Nike and Under Armour. I mean, you think about it, football, I mean, their football players are probably going to be taking a lot of those sponsorships from a lot of these big companies because they're the big sport that everybody watches, right? But the wrestlers can still partner with local brands or even local smaller wrestling brands, shoe brands, things like that. I think you're going to see some more branded camps. You may see the Spencer Lee camp, the Spencer Lee style wrestling camps over the summer, the Michael Kemmer style wrestling camps over the summer back in Pennsylvania or in Iowa. You may see those sorts of things start to happen. You're going to see more endorsements. Like I said, there are already things that are happening. They're in the works already with some of these athletes. And you're going to see, I mean, another thing that I'm just curious about is if somebody runs off the mat, David Carr runs off the mat after his NCAA finals and he wins, right? Is he able to say the Haribo gummy bears, are they going to be a sponsor? Is he able to say, yeah, shout out to this company. They have the best gummy bears out there. Now, you may, like, I get it, that's engaging while you're in competition, but maybe that actually helped him in his training. Maybe that's something he wants to talk about, right? I think you may see some of that. You may even see some negative side effects. Like, will wrestlers stop signing autographs for free during and after matches? I think for the most part, you're not going to see that. You're going to see the good-hearted wrestlers keep continuing to doing what they have already done, but you will definitely see some side effects. Now, if you're interested in learning more about NIL and potentially building your own wrestling brand, whether you're in high school or college, you're going to want to check out a secret project I'm working on right now. If you made it to the end of this video, you're going to go ahead and check out my second channel, Fanco Media, for a secret project that I will be launching soon. So keep those lips sealed and go subscribe to that right now.